Joy Gurudev, Joy Ma Shambho Mahadev Sana Bhavatu. Welcome to level 2 of Brihad Jabalo Upanishad, and I hope you have wished everyone on the query group Sana Bhavatu. Now we have started learning 6th Brahmana and the stories of 6th Brahmana. Now today the next story of 6th Brahmana. There was a boy, Brahmin boy. Brahmin means not born in Brahmin house. In the olden day, Brahmin means one who is enlightened. His name was Karuna. Now, he was the eldest son of the wife of a person called Dhananjay. Now, something about Dhananjay, because it is going to be useful for the story, that Dhananjay was from the family of Rishi Vashishta. He was from the lineage of Rishi Vashishta. So, Dhananjay had hundreds of wives. And this Karuna was the eldest son of the first wife. So, probably all the responsibilities and all the powers and all the wealth of the father, or the major wealth, major power of the father was going to come to the eldest son. So all the other siblings were jealous of him, and Dhananjay had 100 wives, so maybe there may be 100 or thousands of sons and daughters, and they all were very jealous of Karuna, and they wanted to kill Karuna. And Karuna had a wife called Suchi Smita, one wife only, two names but one wife, Suchi Smita. So Karuna means compassion. Compassion doesn't mean pity. Pity is different and compassion is different. And compassion is always accompanied by a beautiful, innocent, bright smile. And that is the meaning of Suchismita. A bright smile, a beautiful smile, an innocent smile, a glowing smile. So Smita means smile, Suchi means good, bright, beautiful, innocent, pure. So, Karuna was not able to bear all the politics and all the, things that his brothers and sisters and other siblings were doing to him. And so one day he said, enough is enough. He got fed up and he went to a Narasimha temple, which was on the banks of river Bhavani. If you are an Indian, you know that Narasimha is a deity, Avtara of Lord Vishnu, half lion, half man, who saves you from your enemies. He is a very furious deity, and even Bhavani is considered to be furious, so you have to be careful when you are worshipping them. So he was there and he was very upset, he was in depression, sad, and as well as he was angry. So when you are in this kind of mind frame, even if you are enlightened, you make mistakes. You don't know what is happening or what you are doing. And so he made a mistake. Someone had brought some fruits to offer to deities over there, to God over there, and he ate one of the fruit, the Jambira fruit. And when he ate the fruit, people who were there in the temple, they got very upset with him. They got very angry, and one of them, they cursed him that, oh, you sinful one, you may become a fly for 100 years. Now curses are very strong. He became a fly for 100 years. And before he was going to become a fly, he said, now I'm done now, I'm gone. He went running to his wife and he said, see, I've got a curse. And before I turn into a fly, I want to tell you one thing, that please take care of me. Promise me that you will take care of me. You will protect me from my brothers till I am a fly, because a fly does not have any strength to stand against any shortcomings that are going to come. So the wife promised him, and he immediately turned into a fly. Whenever you are in problem, you have to go to two people. One is Suchismita, your innocent smile, and second is your wife. These are the only two people who will get you out of the trouble. Whenever there is trouble, if you maintain a smile on your face, the trouble may become deeper and deeper and intense, but you will get out of it unharmed. You may suffer a lot, but even in that suffering, if you can maintain your smile, you will be able to come out of any kind of problem soon or later. Huh? So he went to his wife promised him, but the brothers came to know that, this guy is turned into a fly, so they said, this is our chance. They took a vessel of oil and they put that fly into that vessel of oil, and he died. So the wife started crying, Suchismita started crying, and she took this fly to Arundhati. Arundhati is Vashishta's wife. And Arundhati and Vashishta are also a pair of stars which look like one single star from the earth, because they rotate around each other. So Arundhati, and Vashishta's wife, she said that enough of this fight between the siblings and enough of this suffering for you, Suchismita, don't cry. She said, get me the vibhuti, the holy ash from the Yajna. And she chanting the Mahasanjivani mantra, sprinkled a little bit of vibhuti on the fly, and Suchismita aired it, fanned it. And because of the fanning, there was a breeze, and immediately the dead creature came to life again. If you see a dead fly, if you put little vibhuti on it with Mahasanjivani mantra, and if you fan it a little bit, that insect, that fly will come back to life. There are chances, 90% chances. If you have taken Diksha of Mahasanjivani mantra, you can try it. So that is how he became alive again. And then Suchismita had promised that I will protect you for 100 years till you are a fly. So she was living for 100 years, and that fly was also living for 100 years. And maybe suffering of one day of a fly is equivalent to 100 years. So maybe that is also suffering of the husband is also like a suffering of one day equivalent to 100 years of suffering for a wife. So maybe 100 years, or maybe whatever. Stories are stories, but the meaning they give us is very important. So at the at the end of the 100 years, the brothers may not be alive, but their kids, their sons or their grandsons, again one of the son or the grandson killed this fly in Kashi, Varanasi. And he, along with this fly, he killed 5 other flies. Why 5 others? Why he killed 6 flies? Because maybe, all flies are like one another. So you don't recognize. So he killed 6. And in killing 6, one, that Karuna also died. So even the wife could not recognize who was Karuna. So he took all the dead flies, 6 dead flies, and she went to Maharishi Dadij, the great saint, the great sage Dadij, and with the help of the Vibhuti, Dadij brought all the 6 flies to life, and the 5 flies, they flew off, and the 6th fly, which was this, guy, he turned into a human again, Karuna. So before putting the Vibhuti, that he said that, okay, once I and all the deities have also suffered like this without our mistake. And Vibhuti removed our suffering, so I will remove your suffering, O sinless one. He told sinless one. He addressed Suchismita as sinless one. Why sinless one? Because she was suffering because of no fault of hers. And he sprinkled the Vibhuti, and Karuna became a human again. And Karuna and Suchismita started living in the ashram of Rishi Dadij after that. So he was revived with the influence of Bhasma. So now again, today's questions, there are only 3 questions. So pay attention. I will read them out very slowly. If you want, you can write them. And I want each and every one's answer. Understand this. Whether you are a mentor or not a mentor, each and every one's answer has to be on the query group. Each and every one. So the first question is that Suchismita was addressed as the one who is sinless, who has not committed any sin, by Maharishi Dadij. And she had lived for 100 years. So think of it, if a person who is living for more than 100 years, she got married, and after that, few years passed by, and after that the husband was cursed and he turned into a fly, and 100 years he was as a fly. So before 100 years she was living. She has lived over 100 years. And she has not committed a sin in her whole life. But still, she had to go to Maharishi Dadij to revive her husband. I am repeating the question. Suchismita, a female who has lived for more than 100 years, not committed any sin in her life. She is sinless. She is pious. And she also knows the process to revive her husband, to make him alive again. She has seen Arundhati doing it, sprinkling the Vibhuti, and then she was fanning and chanting the Mahasanjivani mantra. And the husband comes to life again. Mahasanjivani mantra we teach, we give Diksha in Mahasanjivani Vidya course. And we teach you beautiful techniques, chakra techniques also. So, why could she not revive her husband and the other 5 lives, and why she had to go to Maharishi Dadij? This is the first question. The second question is, Maharishi Dadij has addressed Suchismita as the sinless one. It is true, because Karuna, compassion, was suffering. Not because of the sin that he committed. He was suffering because of the mistake that he committed. He ate that fruit. So he was suffering. He was angry. He was depressed. That was a mistake, not a sin. So he was suffering. He suffered for 100 years, or his suffering was like the suffering of 100 years. But Suchismita, she was suffering for 100 years without her fault. Why? Maybe husband suffering of a day is also a suffering for a wife for 100 years. But she was that poor lady who was a sinless lady, was not committed any sin. I am repeating the second question. A lady who is sinless, who has not committed any sin. She is suffering for more than 100 years for no fault of hers. The question is suffering possible without we committing a sin or a mistake or a crime? I'll repeat my question. Is suffering possible without committing a mistake, without committing a crime, without committing a sin? And now the last question. Whether your answer is yes or no to the second question. Whether you say yes, suffering is possible without committing a mistake or a sin or a crime, or whether you say no, it is not possible. Then what is karma for you? What is the theory of karma? Explain the theory of karma on the query group. Not what you have read somewhere, not what you have heard, something that you believe you understand for yourself. That is the theory of karma that you tell me on the query group. Whether your answer, I'm repeating the third and the last question, whether your answer is yes or no to the second question, suffering is possible or not possible without or with committing crime, mistakes, etc. Whether it is yes or no, what is your theory of karma? What do you understand? What do you believe of theory of karma? That you have to tell me on the query group, every one of you. If you have any questions, you ask your partner or ask us on the query group, and we are waiting for your answers on the query group. See you soon. Hari Om Tat Sat.